Hello and welcome to another episode in the Meat series. Last time we looked at my Space Marines, and today I'm joined again by Callum, who I will be interviewing this time. And it's going to be a little bit more of a raucous event today, because we're going to be talking about your orcs, aren't we, Callum?
Yes, yes, we are.
Okay, so let's just kick off with a pretty basic question. Just who are your orcs?
So, my orcs are a group of boys or girls. We are PC, who have broken off from a great warg and are kind of leading their own separate warg, led by Admiral Blacktooth Skullbeard, who is cunning but brutal. Um, and they are essentially pirates. Um, so they're like freebooters, which would make sense. But they have their own sort of governing system, which is a bit more like orcs in kind of real life. So
Pirates in
because I've
real
always
life, as opposed to
yeah,
yes,
not like
not
orcs in
orcs in
real
real
life,
life.
yeah. So going back to like going to the kind of idea of like what took me into orcs, because I'm from Nottingham, and of course one of our big icons, a very famous figure, is Robin Hood. So we always like this kind of figure who's a bit of a like a rogue sort of thing, and galleon sort of because they're kind of up against the corrupt system in a way. And so I think with that I've always had this kind of love for that sort of thing, and especially pirates. I think there's some in particular that I've always been so fond of. um so like for instance, Francis Drake, being a huge figure in for Queen Elizabeth and helping to defeat the Spanish Armada. There's Sir Henry Morgan, and there is also like Henry Avery. Those sort of figures which are like noble pirates, and that's the sort of feel I wanted to go with my orcs. So that's why I've tried to make them into a kind of uh, a bit of a British pirate vibe from the 18 or 17 1800s. And yeah, so the we've been modeling sort of like hats on top of them and stuff, and just the color scheme just to kind of um paint in a way so that they got blue coats with a sort of white underneath, maybe with like a bit of strip of red. And then just to emphasize that they're pirates, they have to have the gold. So I've been like painting the weapons in gold. Got to have their bling. But yeah, so going with that, with the law of pirates, they actually were democratic, which I find is quite unusual in the 40k universe. A lot of people tend to be a lot more, what's the word, kind of um,
Authoritarian.
authoritarian. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this one, I've done it where, because of course we the weird boys are like the psychers. I say they're the smart ones, and essentially because I like to when I feel them, I like to feel like three weird boys. Whereas the weird boys are like they are the kind of the head. They are this kind of governing body, and they kind of um
So they're more like, I suppose, sort of if we looked at like Warhammer Fantasy Battles sort of idea, they're sort of like the High Elven Archmagi, who are, they're learned scholars in magic, as opposed to whack job fungus fueled nutty shaman on a absolutely terrible acid trip.
yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
yeah, these guys, they put someone forward who they think is they'll kind of vote what they think is the right to lead the army. So someone who has to be smart, has an understanding, because they've got to have good tactical awareness to get in there, loot something, and get out. And I think for these orcs, because they are in this kind of living in this world where it's just war going on everywhere. It's all about survival. and they will just try and they're opportunists. They'll take advantage of whatever they can to try and if they can loot something, just to kind of strengthen themselves and keep them going. So yeah, so I say like they've got the weird boys in kind of like this. They're trying to make because they're smart. They can make the right decisions, but in the end, it's all up to it's like it's democratic. So if the boys don't want to do something, they don't have to do it. Just like how it was like with pirates, with certain pirates in real life. And the certain I have said like I think about them also having rules where they're like they don't gamble at all. They have to go to bed by a certain time. There are these kind of rules, just like as pirates would have. But which I think a lot of people would find a bit weird with orcs because they're like, well, orcs are very
Well,
barbaric and stuff. But my oh,
well, I was about to say, like orcs are archetypally speaking, this nut job army of hooligans who beat each other up at any opportunity and do so because the teeth that they punch out of their opponent is the literal currency of their species. Like, it seems like
yeah,
you've got kind of naff fun police orcs.
yeah. I mean, you have
What
to
what's
remember.
like the really exciting part about them?
Ooh, I mean, one of the reasons I went into orcs in the first place is because I like a more melee-based army. I don't want to be that sort of person where I'm just like sitting in the corner, just like, okay, just gun that thing down. I want to be right in people's faces, and I want to be like, when I'm right there, there's going to be a load of trouble. So with the orcs, when you've got like a whole squad of boys just coming at you, and you're just there like, well, I'm throwing, 100 odd dice to good luck trying to survive this. This is the sort of thing I really enjoy. The kind of their play style. Um, and it's like, of course, it's also I'm quite fascinated in when it's like probability when something is got a low chance of succeeding, but if you give it enough of a chance, it will occur. It's sort of like the same sort of thing when it comes to astronomy.
Yeah, go,
I like the idea with the orcs, like they're not very good at shooting, but if you roll enough of it, some of it will happen, and it's
it
so
is
exciting sometimes when it pays off.
technically, if you've got enough dice, you can destroy a Titan. It's just easier to pelt that Titan model with the dice than it is to actually shoot it dead with the orcs.
Yes. I think if you it would be interesting having orcs go up against stormtroopers. I think they would have a very even
Star Wars stormtroopers.
Star Wars stormtroopers.
Right.
Yeah, notorious for their bad shooting and orcs.
I was thinking. I mean, we could do like orcs versus inquisitorial stormtroopers. That's a battle we could play. Um, I
Um,
think orcs would have the leading hand in that. Maybe definitely in melee. Maybe a little bit in defensive against shooting. Oh no,
I want as long as like I want orcs to be always like one of the toughest in melee. And that's why I always like with my characters. I really like that with Gaz coming out because he is just frightening. He's the name Beast is fitting for him. And I just like being able to have you know just getting you in combat and knowing that bad things are coming your way. But no, there's other things to do the orcs as well. As well, why I like them. One of the things is the fact that we can build a lot of things from scratch, and we can what's the word I'm looking for when you uh
kit bash, scratch build.
kit bashing, yeah. So I like the idea because I sometimes like when I look at other armies and go, that's quite nice. I like that. Gives me an idea of going, I could take that, and it's quite feasible with the law. It wouldn't look stupid as well if an orc has it,
Yeah,
and then I can just like because I don't think I'm the best in terms of crafting as well. Even if it doesn't look great, it's fine because we're just orcs and we're just putting metal together anyway.
yeah.
So it's no pressure onto making it perfect. So I kind of like that side as well, the crafting side of things with the orcs. I got a lot of freedom with them. So because I'm very creative, I like to express myself, and orcs allow me to do that very well.
And I guess the freedom of creativity, I guess, ties back in with the freedom that your orcs have being democratic pirates.
Yeah. So it all is, you can see why I've put my kind of feel onto this army, but it all comes together really very fittingly. So yeah, that's why I've 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 not I don't have any other army because I think the orcs are just the best. I don't think there's any reason to go for any other army. I'm satisfied just having the orcs.
Fantastic. So, in the last in our last chat, we had a little chat about my Space Marines and Hell Avenue, and that was like a standout moment for me.
Yeah.
I know that you've had a few like heroic moments of your own in some of our games. So why don't
Certainly
you?
has.
So what's a real standout moment for you with um, your orcs on the tabletop?
I think we've got to start off with probably the greatest underdog story, which is that of Godkiller.
Fantastic. So let me just go
Got a
ahead
picture
and
of
grab
him,
up a
but
picture. Okay.
there
Oh,
he
and
is.
the whole screen has fallen apart, guys.
No, that's what he does. He kills gods, but he can also wreck screens.
Yep.
This boy is
Kill
untamable.
kills gods and points out that I've not. There we are. There we are. That's fixed.
Area.
Kills gods and points out that I've not done enough of a good check on how everything was set up before we started. Fantastic. So, Big Ed God Killer. As we can see, he's got a big Ed. Why is he a God
Uh,
Killer?
so, so I mean, I want to first start off with this character here. This boy. He's not like any other boy in the squad. So I remember getting like a whole load of boys, and they had this one that kind of stood out different to the rest of them. He's like got his big big head, which is why we call him Big Head, with his
Yeah,
gaping mouth.
seems to have
He's
one of
also
them from the Assault on Blackreach War Boss kit. He seems to have that
yeah,
head put on a boy.
and all the rest of the boys don't have that. So he's already he stands out. And I mean, he's also got the black and the red, which is more goth. Which I think only there's the knob in that group has as well. He's got the black and red. So there's only two knobs. So he's really this guy who stands out. And in this battle we had, it was against your Necrons,
Yep.
and then you had at that time you fought to bring Catan Shard.
Yeah, yeah,
That
the Deceiver.
big, yeah, which for I would just keep calling it a god.
I mean, they are gods. They are literal star gods.
Yeah.
Enslaved.
So, mm, but yeah, they were causing a lot of problems for my orcs because especially with the spells they can do, they're very good against hordes. So you're just seeing all these boys being destroyed left, right, and center, and I'm like, I need to deal with this thing. So we managed to get the boys in combat with the Catan shard. We somehow broke the lines, managed to get to this thing, and we're like, if we keep hacking at it, eventually it will have to die. And it became a bloodbath because we were throwing in all our attacks. You then came back and you throwing all your attacks, and then what happened is we had very little like remaining, and I think it came down to two guys. We had the boss knob and the boy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recall, did we end up killing the boss knob or not? I don't know if we ended up like
I don't
because he had
recall that.
two
I
wounds.
think I think the boss knob did his attacks with the power claw and either missed because it always misses, or
Yeah, I think
or
yeah,
he just didn't do enough damage.
yes. So I think in the end, the boss knob had. I was hoping the boss knob because of course the power claw can do D3 damage. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I hope that it can come in and do it. But for some reason they keep on missing the wound rolls. It's not the hit rolls; it's the wound rolls, which are like hitting on like a very good chance of 2+3+, and they seem to always miss for some reason. But here we are. We've got this one boy remaining to do his attacks against the Catan shard, just towering above it, and he throws his attacks, and yeah, he manages to get his attacks through. Um, and you then had to, make your save. But of course, you had a good save because they AP 0.
Oh, it's not that great. I think a Catan Shard just sits on a pretty happy 4+ invulnerable, but it's just got a bunch of wounds and toughness 7. But yeah,
Yeah. So, but regardless, we've got these through. Hopefully, one of them, like, come on, can they get through? We need to finish this thing off. Trying this on wound, and the boy manages to get through the final blow,
yep.
destroying the Catan shard that had caused us so much pain by killing the rest of the squad. All his friends were dead because of this god that thought that he was better than them, but he did this for the rest of the gang, and he managed to survive the battle. So from that point onwards, Big Head got a promotion and was called God Killer.
I've got to ask a really important question.
Yeah.
Why isn't he your boss knob now?
Well, I think it's because the boss knob always has. I give him some sort of weapon. I think more recently I've been changing that.
Yeah, we've been playing a little bit
But
over lockdown online, and it's
yeah,
it's not really you've
you
not really
don't
been
have
doing
to
that,
big chopper.
you know,
Yeah, but
since
I've just
the event.
since
It's
the.
it's been
Mm, I just like.
choppers all round. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it kind of very fitting, with the how orcs work. The fact you've just beaten something bigger just shows you how tougher you are, and we probably should make him into a boss knob. But at the moment, I've always had it so that he's like one of the last people remaining. It's him and the boss knob, the two goths that lead the freebooter boys. They were always typically the last two to remain. Um, so yeah, I've got a very fond of this model, um, just because of that one moment. I mean, I did like it before. I did like the design of it, but since then, I've just become incredibly fond because of that one moment.
fantastic.
um,
So when it comes down to things that you want to add to your army, maybe it's a rule, maybe it's a model, something else. What what do you really see in the future for Admiral's Armada?
so I think one of the um, with Admiral's Armada, I think over the years I've been kind of testing out, trying to figure out how to just the waters, trying to look at different things, see how
Yeah,
effective they are, and what things I could incorporate into this army. So I'm still doing a lot of testing. But at the moment, I know of some ideas of like I want to have this in my army, and I want to try and do it eh, differently. So, for instance, I know I want to, a battle wagon because of how crucial they are. And at the moment I've been using is it under the Elder?
yeah, it's
My
the
barge I have.
Eldar Raider, I think it is.
Yeah,
Dark
I
Elf
have a Raider, which I kind
Drakari
of bought
Raider.
off eBay. Yeah, I got quite cheap, and I was just there like, this looks piratey. I can do something with this. But originally, I was using it for like I was saying I could make this more into like a kill tank, and then just imagine guys on the side with like flamers, and just make essentially what is known as the flame barge, which is really devastating, but also incredibly expensive. But I feel like when it comes to a battle wagon, it'll be quite fitting to have something which, because we have this very early on. I've always had the Chinook Warcopter that we built, which we
Yeah,
made into an actual flying pirate ship, um, with the kind of the propellers. But I'm thinking it would be quite nice having something on the ground, which is like shaped in a way that is a ship with like a battering ram, because
right.
that's what I want to do with them. So that's kind of their function, is to ram into things and drop people off. So I feel like it would be fitting to have like a ship probably like on wheels just charging into battle.
A nice sort of
So
landboat kind of thing.
yeah, land boat, yeah. So yeah, so that's one of the things that like I need to try and work on creating some more heavy support things. I don't really have big tanky things in my army. So one of the things I think. especially because custom force fields are such a massive part for orcs. A Morkanut.
Yeah.
But I was like, trying to figure a way to build that so it's more fits into the theme of pirates. So maybe just build a Morkanut, give it a hat and something and some like claws. Maybe I give it a hook or something.
Just the Morkanaut lost his hand to a giant intergalactic whale shark, and now we didn't give it a claw again. We just gave it a hook on the end of a hand.
Yes.
Just wait till
Um,
that whale comes back again. It's actually spring
yeah.
loaded, and it's actually a harpoon. We're gonna shoot it down the whale's gullet and
Only if I had rules for
harvest its
that.
blubber. Hey, I'm
uh,
open and narrative play. They live for crazy rules like this.
mm. But yeah, since I mean Psychic Awakening and now Ninth Edition,
Yeah.
I'm focusing on one of the things is the jets.
Yes.
Because they the burner jet especially is incredibly effective. So I would like to try and I'm thinking of ideas of how to bring that into the army. Um, and I think the other thing is as well is with the saga of the was it prophecy? It's prophecy of the wolf, isn't it? Saga of the beast.
Saga of the Beast, which
Yeah,
tells the prophecy of the wolf.
wolf. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I think that's it.
um, they of course they brought out Gaz, and I'm like, actually, I always wanted a big orc. It's an idea of like maybe I could do something where I could. We got it's being led by Admiral, Blacktooth Schoolbeard, but maybe we could have a rear admiral, someone even bigger,
Yeah.
who's like sitting back, commanding things. So I mean, there's so many things that got on my mind. Like, oh, I can
There's
do
always a
this, I
there's
can
always a
do that.
bigger orc you can keep.
Yeah, and I think this is why I can't really like start another army because I don't see my finishing with the orcs. There's just so much more I can keep churning out. So yeah, I think in terms of the rules, however, I will mention since the ninth edition, I think a lot of things have nice to orcs in the way of how they play.
Yeah.
It's just one of the things that I find is a shame is the fact that it was nice before when we were just testing out all the different detachments, and I was doing things like as I say, with the kill barge, with the flamer barge, it was so nice to go. Oh, we can that's that detachment for the flamers, which gives them the two roll. If you pick the highest in the number of hits they
Yep.
get, um, and there's it, things like that. I just don't see are going to be used anymore. With the fact that you have to spend command points on how many detachments you're having. So instead, you will probably see more like monotypes, which is very disappointing because I see a lot of the specialist ones because they only target specific units.
Yeah.
Means that they're going to now be in like forgotten, and we just gained them just to kind of like lose them again. But at the same time, it's like things like freebooters, which have always been, nah, you've got better options. Having a whole army of freebooters could be more viable.
Yeah, freebooters seem to sit in
So
this like little thing of being jack of all trades, master of none, which when
mhm.
combined with like other armies which are just masters of one of the trades. And seeing as you could mix a whole bunch of masters together to create a master army, that was fine. But now, if we're trying to be conservative with command points, I guess you can lean more into freebooters and that pirate aesthetic.
Yeah. So I mean, at the same time, it's giving me kind of that kind of excuse to run the freebooters because originally before you would always run. I would say, well, what's better for battle,
Yeah,
like the evil sons because you can great gain ground very quickly, which is very important for, of course, a horde melee army. You need to get into battle as quickly as possible,
yeah.
and things like the death schools as well were very effective, or bad moons, for shooting side of things. So they're the ones I would have typically run. So it would, as I say, it would be nice to kind of like bit more around the theme of my army and go with those freebooters.
I've
So
just had a thought as we were talking there about the saga of the beast and everything. If
mm,
orcs are meant to be stereotypical British hooligans,
all right.
and they sound like them,
Yes.
And space wolves are meant to be stereotypical space Vikings.
Okay.
Does that mean that space wolves sound like a slightly racist Scandinavian accent? Are the space wolves walking around going, "Hey, it's a me. I've come to kill you, Gazgul"?
If our friend was here right now, he'd
And
be very disappointed with that accent.
I don't know. I don't. If Ragnar Blackmane's running around sounding like that, I don't know if I like Space Wolves more or less because of it. I think I like
Uh,
them differently.
uh, it's it doesn't matter what the space wolves are. Because everyone will have when they play them will have their own touch. Because for instance, Georgie, she has her space wolves, so she has
Yeah,
them in a way that they focus more on the actual wolves
yeah.
and the so
She had to take the Space Marines as part of the Wolf Pack. Apparently, that wasn't that she wasn't allowed not to.
but I mean that means I kind of mine could be British hooligans, but doesn't necessarily mean their army is going to be a very stereotypical
I don't know. I think I kind of like it if it is.
well, if you want to do that's perfectly fine.
So,
Uh,
what is the pride of your army? If you
ooh.
got something that really stands out on tabletop.
I've
Uh,
got quite a few things that I think stands out.
let's take a look at them.
So I think we should probably start with the main guy, which is Admiral Blacktooth Skullbeard. Here he is.
Yeah.
Um, so what a fine model, and I can't take the praise for this because this is thanks to Lander here.
Guilty.
It's actually yeah, it was never actually my idea to even make this. You came up like I've got an idea. Would this be good for your army? And it um, completely changed the way I looked at my army because here unlike the captain I had before, Grunt Head Crusher as he's called, he's got a flamer. Of course, that's when the idea of the flamer barge came in. Because I got the squad of the burner boys and then a kill tank with flamers and just flame, flame, flame. But there's kind of this idea that there's this old pirate who's kind of in charge of things, and he's very cunning, but of course he has this flamer which is really brutal. So I've liked it because he has the donned in this armor. He kind of is this he's quite tough, and very sort of just being smart about it. And I like the little touch of it, like the gold on the edge, and of course um he's got like his pirate hat as well is done. Um, I just love a lot about this model. He's huge. If you ever see him on the body, he stands out because of
Oh
the
yeah.
flame.
He's
So
easily the size. Well, I mean, his body's a Centurion Devastator, and then there's about another Centurion Devastator of height just in the gun alone. Um, big
yeah,
boy.
he's definitely the centerpiece. One of those things where when you're playing with him, people would walk past and they'll notice that him straight away. And it's really nice because he is after all the admiral. He should be the one to get the attention. So yeah, it's I think it's fantastically done.
Just saying, he
So
spends most of his time. He spends most of his time hiding inside a barge. It's kind
that's
of
yeah, but that's because he's cunning. He's smart. He's got this armor which makes him. He's quite normal. He's slow, but if he's in a barge with all these other flamers, he can just scorch through anything. So I think if I yeah, it's annoying because you sometimes have to like leave him on the side of the table because he's not actually out of the vehicle. But when he does get out, that's when the fun comes. I kind of like the fact in his army kind of looks like he has a bit of a walking stick, but it's like an armored sort of. Um,
Yeah,
So
the
yeah,
the
is it?
dude's such a lunatic. He just looted a death dread for his limbs.
Yes. So it's yeah, I like this. I like this. I think it's got a lot of personality. So definitely, I say the first a high honourable mention there. There's quite a few as well. There's typically not painted by me because I'm not a good painter. So the other one is I like is there's the weird boy. One of the weird boys in particular. Because I knew I wanted to get loads of weird boys, and I'm thinking, well, how can we do this so kind of relatively cheaper? And we're looking at the Age of Sigmar stuff, and we saw there was the shaman.
Yeah, formerly
Right.
Wurzag.
Don't know if you have. Do you have a picture of that for? Or should
I don't have a picture of it right here. The only other one
um,
I've got a picture of is your dragster, which I can go ahead and
yeah, I'm
put
about to
up on
go
the
on to that
screen.
one. So, but yeah, the shaman, as I say, is on a. If my friend's watching this, thank you so much for that. And of course, this is actually another one he did as well, the dragster. Um, I think they are the reason they stand out is because the colors are so vibrant, but it's really well painted. And the dragster, for me, I really loved when the vehicles came out because there was something different. And I quite liked this idea of having fast attack. Um, I like to not just getting in combat, but I like to be fast as well. So so yeah, so a friend was like, I can get my hand on one of these, and I can paint it up for you. He did it as like for my birthday, I think it was. And he's like, well, how would you like it? So, I gave him the ideas of how I envisioned it. So he went with, you got the red streak on it because, of course, it's fast. Orcs think it's fast. Blue is my favorite color, so we had to put some blue in there. It also fits kind of well with the army with the blue, white, and red theme going on. And it's got little touches to it. So, like in the very at the back, you notice there's the number 44, which number 4 has always been my favorite number, but it also is a reference to the Formula One driver Lewis Hamilton, who has 44 on his car.
Well,
Right.
what
So,
couldn't be better for a dragster, eh?
yeah, exactly. So it's like if we're having a dragster, we need to have the 44 on it. And yeah, I just love the detail with it's got the mud tracks on it. I just love having this model. It really does stand out when you put it on the field because there's nothing like it. And I love actually playing with it as well. It's got some really cool rules. One of the weapons can hit on a 3+, which is just
It's
really
unique for
odd.
orcs. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
Very unique for orcs.
yeah.
Anyhow, out of
So,
if you're pressed, because you're being pressed now, out of the
all right.
dragster, the shaman that we don't have a picture of, and admiral, which one's best? Remember who's in the chat with you.
Ooh. Yeah. They're good for different reasons, and that's the problem. As I say, this is what I actually think is that I think the dragster and the shaman are painted better. They are really a masterclass of painting. But I really like Admiral in the sense that you've completely converted something different, and you really did a good job with the molding of the beard, put in the skulls, and you've got the flamer, which it really is striking. So I like them for different reasons. One I say something really well painted, others are really well crafted. They're all different, and I think that's they all add something different to the army. So I'm not going to pick a favorite.
Artfully dodged.
Yes.
Right, well, I think that brings us to the end of everything that we have time for today
Right.
in this video. So thank you everyone for watching. Please go ahead, hit that like button, click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and if you want to be alerted to more videos coming up, press the notification bell. We are hoping to have a good couple more videos come out over the course of this week, and we will see into next week if we can match that pace, but it's more likely that we're going to take a bit of a slower ride at it. The next video we've got coming up should be one in which I'll be introducing you to my Necron dynasty. So we will look forwards to seeing you next time. It's bye from me,
And it's goodbye from me.
and we'll see you next time.